welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to carve this Guy Fawkes mask, also known as the Anonymous. But I was looking for a wizard because everybody does wizards, and I wanted to do something a little different. And this is the mask actually from the movie V for Vendetta that was back in 2005. If you haven't seen it, go check it out and you'll kind of understand the mask. But it's pretty simple, and it's a wizard. And I got a little more touching up on the paint, just a little bit right there where it kind of went off. But this is what we're going to do today. Pretty simple, and any beginner should be able to start off and knock this one out. So today's size we're going to be using is a triangular piece. So if you need to learn about how to make these, I suggest to go to Doug Linker's channel. He's got a good video on how to make up a jig that you can cut these out with your bandsaw, and makes it pretty simple. Once you got the jig made, you know, you can take these and lay them in the jig like this. It's actually like this, and you're going to cut it in half, and you'll have two pieces. So these are really good practice pieces to work on your faces or just make up all kinds of wizards. And towards the end of the video, when we paint this guy, I'll show you some of the other wizards that I've done. But I wanted to do something a little different, something a little off the ordinary. So again, my piece is 4 1/4 by 1 1/2 on either side. So 1 1/2, 1 1/2, and 4 1/4. So alright, so we're going to get started on knocking this bad boy out. Now I want to apologize, and first I'm going to go ahead and take these rough edges off while I'm talking to you. I want to apologize for not having any videos up here in the last couple of weeks. I had an unfortunate thing happen to my father. Passed away a couple days right before Christmas. I actually had another video I was wanting to get out before Christmas, and I still might put that up here. But my father passed away. He's been suffering from Alzheimer's and dementia. He was in a nursing home, and he's been in the nursing home for about two years. He's had dementia for about 5 years, so it's been an ongoing battle. But ever since he was put into the nursing home, he really did good. He was doing fine. And then up until March, when we couldn't go see him on a regular basis because we spent a lot of time with him up there. We didn't want him to just be up there and not know what's going on and not remember who his family was. So we spent some time going up there, but when the COVID hit, of course, most of the nursing homes, actually all the nursing homes, wouldn't let anybody visit. So there was almost 3 or 4 months where we didn't even really get to go see him. And I'm going to go ahead and take off this edge and start shaping the bottom of the face before we get started cutting out the rest of it. But he was in the nursing home, and he was at the point where he kind of knew who he was still. He remembered all of his family and everything. And then it just got hard from there because he wasn't allowed to have his family in, and we didn't really get to see him at all. We got a couple visits where we had to sit outside and look at him through a window, which was really hard, and it was really hard on him and really hard on us. And we just seen his decline in his health go downhill, and he got to the point where right before Christmas, the first couple weeks before Christmas in December, he just got to the point where he stopped eating, and the dementia took over, and he couldn't swallow, started losing muscle memory, and couldn't swallow his food, and then he stopped taking water and food. And we got to fortunately be with him for about the last week of after they put him in hospice. They did start letting us go visit him. So we was fortunate enough with the nursing home let us go in there and spend the last week with him. So needless to say, that came first in my life instead of making videos. But he was a good man. We all enjoyed him, and all his grandkids and his family enjoyed him so much. So it was it's been a hard actually month now for us, getting over everything and getting everything in order. You know how that goes when someone in your family passes away, but there's a lot more that comes after it. But we did have the service. We did have a good service, and the veterans came out, and because he was a veteran, they came out and gave him a 21 gun salute and everything, and flag folding ceremony. So that was really cool. And I actually had some bullets casings from the ceremony I have. So we're going to do a pretty cool little memorial thing for my dad. I'm going to carve something and mount the bullets casings in it. So, it's been, like I said, it's been a few rough weeks, and videos have been on my mind about getting them done for you guys, but, my father came first, so that's where we've been. But I'll let you know I got a bunch of good things planned, and I'm going to be back on videos regularly and putting up a bunch of good content for you guys. And this is the first of those. Alright, so basically I'm just kind of getting a rough shape in on the bottom of the wizard's chin here. Because I'm going to have it curving in, and he's going to have a little chin beard right there, and his mustache, and then eyes and eyebrows. Now you could get a little more detailed on this. You can paint the cheeks red, which I probably will. And I'll probably make the cheeks on this one a little deeper so I can get a little more roundness out of the cheeks. But we'll see how it goes. This is only the second one. Like I said, I always like to carve one up and get an idea of what it's going to look like and if it's even worth making a video of. So that takes almost as much time as it does making the video, is just coming up with a plan. And because like I've said before in my other videos, I don't want to just carve the same things everybody else is doing on YouTube. I try to put up different things for you guys that you can learn from, and just maybe spin off of my ideas and come up with your own ideas with it. So I was looking for a wizard to do, and I wanted to do something besides the Santa Claus and a hillbilly and all that. And I was watching this movie. Like I said, it's called V for Vendetta, and it's available on Amazon. It's a little bit controversial, I guess you would say, but I found it to be pretty interesting, especially in this time that we're in. So if you want to check it out, it's on Amazon. It's called V for Vendetta. Actually, Natalie Portman played in it, and I think it was Hugo Weaver that played V. It's actually based off a 1600 scenario, and I won't tell you a lot about the movie because you might want to go check it out. And then the group Anonymous, the hacking group, they started using this mask as kind of their symbol of being anonymous. So some people see it and they think of Anonymous, the group, the hacking group. But I just thought it was something different. And I'm sure you've probably seen the mask before in something. But I just thought it quick, easy way to make a wizard. And so I'll have a little pattern up for you that I used to draw this one on there. And you can try it out if you want and create it. I'll probably put a little magnet on the back of it, little round magnet. And I'm going to make me a board to put all my wizards on. I apologize, I don't have a big old fancy display set up like some of the other carvers. I mean, that's something that really hasn't been on my mind. I've got some shelves, but I did want to, take some time and build me a nice display to start putting my carvings on, since I'm getting a bunch of them. But anyway, so I'm getting this down, and like always, like even in the videos of the ornaments, I'm going to carve down to the line as far as close as I can without cutting into the line. I'm leaving it on there. And if you didn't have a triangular piece, you could still do this on a square block. So you could turn the square block this way, perfectly square block, and just do it that way. You could still have a wizard out of it. But I just took some wood and watched Doug's video on how to make the jig. It's a really good video. And people say, why do you promote other people's channels? Well, in the carving community, I think we can all learn from each other. So I don't have a problem, putting out there when guys do great videos. I think everybody that's seen Doug's videos knows he does amazing videos. And, if somebody's already taught something, unless my way is completely different, I don't feel like it's necessary for me to recover something that somebody else has already done when you can go watch their video. But like I said, if it's something different in the way I do things or the way I was taught to do things, I might do a video of it. Just like on the basics of the cuts and things like that. Because even though I learned 4 cuts, there's actually 5 cuts that I thought the 5th cut was important, because you do use it a lot. So that's why I went on and did one, and I still wanted to do a safety video. And by the way, if you're carving with me, make sure you put your glove on. I will tell you guys that wearing a glove if you're getting started is important. I'm not a fan of the gloves, but I have been wearing mine, just to let you know. And the only reason I don't in the video is because I work with a lot of small pieces, and I try to be careful. And I just think you can see it better than if I have gloves and thumb tapes on and all that. And if you learn good control with your knife, there's less of a chance you're going to get cut. So we're working this hat down, and once we'll scribe everything in before we lose it with the V tool. But we first want to get this shaped down to the size of the mask. And it was a really easy paint job, pretty easy paint job. So most of you guys know that's been watching my videos, I'm not a big fan of the painting, because I'm not a very good painter. But I did paint my first cowboy, and I'll be showing that to you guys here in a video. And I created a really cool little base to mount my cowboy on. So I wanted to show you guys how I did that, and how you can make a base for your carvings when you do, caricatures and just different things you want to mount on something. Okay, so we kind of got this roughed in. We got the edges off of it. Kind of got the shape we want. We'll still probably go back and do a little more towards the end, but let's go ahead and get the rest of it cut in. Um, so we're going to take the V tool and we're going to put in the hat. So let's just go around the top part of the hat just to mark it in. So when we start carving on it, we won't lose our locations. And the way I put the pattern on, if you guys are just tuning in, was I used some carbon paper. As you guys know, I like to do patterns, and then I usually put the patterns up on my website, basswoodcarving.com. So if you haven't been over there, all right, now we're going to make a little stop cut right here, and we're going to cut up to that stop cut. And we're going to start shaping that head in there and the hat. Okay, so if you want to get a pattern, you can always go to my website if I made one up. Sometimes I might just draw something on there. But if I make a pattern up and I tell you there's a pattern, usually a day or two after the video, I get it up, everything up on the website. And in the menu bar at the top of the page is usually where you will find the patterns. There's a drop down menu that says patterns. So just look there if you're looking for any of the patterns. Some of them, it's just clip art that maybe I've picked up off of Google or off of something, and then I'll do, my own illustrations to it. Like the hat on him, I put the hat on there. I just picked up the image on Google Images, and went from there, just creating my own little pattern. And even on the pattern, there's some parts of the design that I didn't put on there because basically it was just a matter of painting them on there. So I didn't really want to paint that on there, take the time to paint all that on there yet, because I wanted to get a video up for you guys. Something simple and fun. And this actually was a fun little project. When I first started, I was like, I don't know if this is going to be good enough or not for a video. But after I got it done, I was really happy with the way it turned out compared to the mask, the actual mask. And I thought, wow, that's pretty good. So here we are. We're doing it up. And basically, I'm just taking this hat, start shaping in this top hat off. Push cuts and stop cuts and pairing cuts. Mostly all push cuts on this. You want to get the rough edges off the top best you can. Just even if you just shaving a little bit of it off just to get those saw marks off of there. It is a top hat, so it's kind of flat on top. At least that's how I did this one. But you guys can do the hat however you like. I was kind of going off the hat he wore in the movie. I'm just going to take this down enough we can start rounding that off and make that hat sit back a little bit. And once we get finalized on the head, we'll come back and round that off. And most of the time on a top hat, when you're carving a top hat, you'll notice the bottom half of it curves in and usually flares out at the top. So that's kind of what you want in this particular carving. Get all that rough edges off there and we'll be able to move on. Okay. Alright, next we're going to go down to the nose. So, like always, we're going to put a little stop cut at the nose. Okay. And then we're going to, let's go ahead and V-cut out the mustache so we don't lose it. And it's pretty easy, it's just straight lines. I've seen a few different variations of this with the curved up mustache. More like, let's see, what do you call it? Like the handlebar mustache. But I think the one actual one in his movie that he wore is closer to this one. So that's why I went with that. Okay, just getting it in there, just marking it in. That's all we're doing. And then we'll come back and cut it out. Okay, just a placeholder. Same thing down here. We'll go ahead and mark this little goatee in down here. Just so we know where it's at. And by using the V tool, I'm not going really deep. I'm just kind of marking the lines in there. So that way if something comes up that I need to go kind of redo it or whatever, I don't have big deep cut lines in there yet. And once I'm happy with the shape, then I'll cut it in with the knife. Because you can see that's not very deep, and if I really needed to, you know, cut it off, I can cut it off, which I'm going to have to anyway, probably because I need to round that bottom out a little bit, but we'll get to that. Alright, so let's go back up. Let's go up to let's go to the nose, and we're going to cut the nose in, and we're going to tilt the knife out just a little bit. Remember, when you cut your noses, don't cut straight down and don't cut in under the nose. Okay, you want to hold your knife out and cut away. That way, because the shape of your nose, the way your nose is shaped out. It's not shaped in. And that's one of the things I've been learning a lot about when doing noses, is trying to keep that blade tilted out so I keep that fatness, that roundness of my nose. Okay, and then when I come back to take it out, I also want to make sure I don't go up under it too far. And once I get my shape and stuff, then I can start, you know, getting the depth of it and making it look like it's supposed to look. just go back around and get this thing started in there a little bit. This is all just to give us pretty much our pencil lines in there. Okay. Alright, let's go to the eyebrows. And we're just going to follow that around. Follow that line. Cut it in. Same way on the other side. Cut it in. Okay, so we're gonna go back in here and we're gonna start taking this out and getting the shape. We'll start at the top and we'll start getting the shape of our mask or our Woodspirit or wizard or whatever you want to call it. Just go back at where I made those stop cuts and just cut in a little bit. Let's get that to pop out, stand up a little bit, and like I said, we can always go back. And I'm trying to be really careful because on the one I did earlier, I ended up slicing right through there and popping the eyebrow off, so I ended up having to help it out a little bit with the wood glue and fix it, but no big deal, we fixed it. And you can't even tell. Alright, so now I can start taking this head back a little bit. Enough. I really don't have to go back a lot. Just go back enough to start rounding it in. And getting that factory surface off of there. And shaping my brim of my hat. But pretty simple if you've watched the other wizard videos, and you know, pretty much the same principles. But getting back to the upcoming carving videos I got gonna come out, like I said, I finished my first cowboy. I actually carved it a while back when I first started carving classes. That was what my instructor gave me to carve, was that cowboy. And I finished him up, finished carving him, started on another one, did a class with him, and did another one, and so I got 3 total done. They're just not painted, so I wanted to go back and just actually wrap them up, finish them up, get my courage up to paint them. And really, my only reason I hesitant to paint them is just because I don't feel like I'm that good of a painter yet. But you know, it was just a rough out, so I can always buy a new one. I figure if I mess it up and recarve it. And I went on and finally finished painting it. And it actually turned out pretty decent, and I'll show you guys probably in the next video, because I wanted to do a base on it. Normally when we get a rough out, when you buy a rough out, it comes with a square base on it. Now you can leave that base on there, or you can do what we do, or what my instructor taught us to do, was cut that base off and make your own base for it. Something unique, you know, than just a square base at the bottom. So I want to show you in a video how I created my base, and you might like it. And the neat thing about it is I can make the same kind of base, but I don't have to make them all look the same, so they can all be different and unique in their own ways. The other thing is when you cut the base off, you leave a little bit more room at the bottom, so you don't cut the whole base off right at the base of the feet. And I'll explain that more when I do the video. But you leave that base on there a little bit, about 1/4 of an inch, and that way you get a little more work on your boots on the bottom. And I'll show you on mine what you can do. Okay, so we got that pretty much curved in and almost done there at the top. Got the hat kind of shaped the way we want it. Alright, and then I'm going to take this. I forgot to do this eyebrow. So let me cut this eyebrow out a little bit, make it stand up. You don't want a lot. Didn't really make that stand out a lot. Just enough that gives me a little bit of an edge. So we can paint it and make it stand up. Give it that 3-dimensional look. So I finished painting one, and I was really happy with the way it turned out. And that encouraged me to finish up painting the other two, so I'm going to be doing that, and I'm going to have to make a base for those. So I wanted to share with you guys how I make my base, how I made my base. So, you know, it doesn't even have to be a round out. If it's you carve your own characters and stuff like that, and you want to display them, you know, you can make these bases. So all I'm doing is taking off that corner of that nose and start shaping that nose in a little bit. But you can have a really cool mount for your base, and I've actually done a couple different ideas, so I want to share them with you in the upcoming videos. I also wanted to add some other objects to it to put on my base with my cowboy, so I figured, what the heck, I might as well show you those too, and that way you might come up with some ideas of your own, or use those ideas that I come up with. It's totally up to you. So there you can see we got it standing up a little bit now, and we'll go back and knock those rough edges off after we get it down, make sure that's where we want it. Alright, so we got now we're going to cut the eye in. Alright, and the eye is just a hole based on the mask. It's just a hole in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to, almost like chip carving, we're going to cut straight across the eye, and we're going to go really deep right there. So that's going to be our deepest point. And then we're going to come in, and we're just going to follow that line at an angle, and we're going to take that little chip out of there, like so. And we're going to come back up here to the top of the eye, almost like if I'm making a real eye. I'm going to round this out, around the line, down to the bottom of that cut. And we're going to make it in right there. Alright, and we'll even them up a little bit. Okay? I think you can see that. Well, same thing on the other side. Alright, cut the eye, across the middle, go deep, and hold your tip down. Whenever you want a deep cut, hold your tip down like this. Alright, now come back, put the tip in, and follow that line. Roll up to it, take out that chip. Same thing on the other top of the eye. Roll that around. And take out that chip. There we go. There's our eyes. Okay, and you can shape it a little more if you need to. Get the little chunks out of there. Okay, come back up here, finish the eyebrow underneath. Get that eyebrow stand up right there. These little cuts, just doing little things like this is what's going to make you good with your cowboys or your characters if you haven't done one yet. If you're a beginner and you're just getting started and you want to do those cowboys, you know, a lot of these little detail cuts are what you're going to do. When you're a beginner, you know, once you get on a certain level, you'll be able to take out bigger chunks and know exactly how you're going to make your cuts. But doing little things like this will really help your skills in becoming a good carver for the character cowboys. Alright, so we got that. Got the eyes, we got the eyebrows. Let's finish up the nose, the mustaches, beard, and we'll be ready to paint this guy. Pretty quick and easy. But again, I want to thank everybody that's been supporting the channel. It's been really awesome. I mean, I'm getting a couple subscribers every day, and sometimes 4 or 5 in a day's time, and I really didn't expect that, but you know, hopefully that means everybody's enjoying the content, which puts a little pressure on me to put out better content, and that's fine. I can do that. So that's where the cowboy elements come in that we're going to do, or that I'm going to do and share with you, because I like to create little elements to go along with my scenery. Alright, so we're getting that nose, just going around trying to shape up that nose a little bit, and take off this top. Started to do that and then walked away from it. Alright, so let's get the cheeks in there. So we're going to go from right here where we cut on the nose, and curve that all the way, the rest of the way around. Again, kind of tilting that knife out just a little bit. And we're going to come back under here, take that out. Up to the nose. And you can make these cuts, you know, as deep as you want. If you really want to pronounce everything, just make it a little deeper. These are just simple little carvings. And it's cheap, so you can experiment. And if you mess it up, it's not a big deal. Not much lost. Okay. And there goes the dogs. Alright, so we're going to finish up with this nose now. Alright, so we're going to cut up under the nose a little bit. Let's make that nose stand up. Make a little triangle cut right there. Little triangle cut right here. Bring them all together. Get your nose even on both sides. Okay. Let's cut back up under the nose just a little bit more. Alright. Now we're gonna a little sliver out of there. Thought my camera wasn't recording there for a minute. I don't know, I have to start all over again. Okay, so got this in. Let's see, we want to get our mustache back in there so we can take our V tool and finish that back up where we cut away. Okay, so let's pronounce our mustache a little bit. Alright, so we're just going to follow that. Well, our V cuts with the knife. Okay, take that out just a little bit on the inside. Be Careful not to chip it off. Cut it off. Okay, now we're going to go underneath. Same thing on the other side. Just work that out in between there. Okay, now right here, where the two mustaches come together, where the mustache comes together, take a little chip cut out of there. Okay. Let's take these little pencil edges off of here. Alright. Over here we're going to come up to the outside of our mustache. We're going to start shaking this bottom of this chin and making that stand up. Alright. Taking all that roughness off of there. Alright. Before we cut that off, a stop cut right at the top. Sorry if I'm getting out of the camera. Right at the top. That stop cut. So you don't get the top of that cut off. Alright, now we're going to follow this little bit of goatee right here. I'll take that off. Okay, let's just nick the top of this off just a little bit, flatten it out a little bit more. Okay, I think we're almost done here. Shape up the bottom however you want your chin to be. You can round it around a little bit more. But it almost comes to a point. And masked, and the mask actually. And then we cut this up a little bit, get a little more of the mustache standing up. Okay. Alright. Let's see, I've got one more little thing to do. Right here, I'm going to put a little bit of a nostril hump. Alright, and we're going to take and cut that around that little hump. Take a little chip cut out right there. Okay, same thing over here. Take out a little, take your knife around that little nostril hump. Make a little triangle cut. Okay, and now you got your nose. Now I'll go back off of the camera and round off these little bit of edges and clean it up a little bit more for you. But you can do that too on your own. But basically, let's make this a little deeper into the nose right there. Oh. If we make those eyebrows stand up. Alright, let's clean it. Clean up your nose a little bit, because you'll have a little bit of a spot right there where you have to blend it in. Okay. Alright, guys, I think we're ready for paint. And like I said, I'll go off camera and clean up the edges a little bit, but pretty much I'll just take all the pencil marks off. Take all the hard edges off. When you do that, just go around lightly with your tip of your detail knife and just touch those edges a little bit. And like I said, if you want to make it deeper, make it deeper. You know, then just go back, and if you got your eyes in there already, just make your eyes deeper. You know, anytime, it's just easier, I think, to go back, especially when you're first learning, to just go back and make things a little deeper than to come back and be like, oh no, I'm too far now I can't go back. Gotta start over. If you notice on a lot of my videos, I'm not just taking single cuts and rounding it off. I mean, I guess from doing the cowboys, I've learned to just take little bits off at a time, and you can gradually get to the best look that you want. All right, guys. So I'll bring you back, and we'll wrap this video up. But there's your Guy Fawkes mask. Okay, folks, welcome back. We got this all painted up. This is our newest one. Here's our other one. See, you can see they're a little different, but you know, still achieved the same goal. So yeah, get yourself some of these triangular blocks. Cut these out, and they make great practice tools for doing faces and doing little things. Here's some of the ones that I've done with them in the past few weeks. Just a great way to practice little wizards and little, you know, faces, and just different little project ideas. So, you know, give this a try. And you know, guys, if you do any of my carvings, you know, email me a pic of them. I'd really appreciate that, just to see what you guys did and what you guys came up with and how your carvings look. You can always email me at carverguy@basswoodcarving.com is my email. So hope you enjoyed this video, and again, thanks for all the support. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Click that notifications bell so you know when we put up a new video, and please share and hit that like button. So once again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.